An awkward silence occurs during a conversation when you feel like someone should be talking, but nobody in the conversation has anything to say. But the irony of trying to avoid an awkward silence is that we often allow it to push us into an awkward conversation. And judging by the number of books, articles and videos teaching you how to never run out of things to say, there's a lot of interest in addressing the nobody has anything to say part of the awkward silence equation. But over the last few years, I've actually found addressing the feeling someone should be talking part to be way more beneficial and far less stressful. Because there is actually such a thing as a comfortable silence, and it could be argued that a comfortable silence is a much more reliable indicator of a good relationship than simply finding ways to never shut up.
That's when you know you found somebody really special, and you can just shut the fuck up for a minute, comfortably share silence.
A comfortable silence is all about two variables, attention and interaction. If you have each other's attention, there needs to be an interaction. If you can't interact for whatever reason, you need to cease having each other's attention. Let me explain. With attention, we have mutual attention, meaning we're focused on each other, joint attention, meaning we have a shared focus on a third target, and separate attention, we're focused on separate targets. Then we have interaction. Where there's mutual attention, as humans, we generally feel compelled to interact with each other. If we don't interact, the mutual attention feels awkward. Now, even though conversation is the go-to method of interacting in most social situations, it's not the only method. Think playing video games together, a chess match, kissing, boxing. All of these and more can be done without a single word being spoken to each other for minutes at a time, maybe even longer. But because you're still interacting, it doesn't feel awkward. Joint attention follows on from mutual attention, as in order to focus on a third target together, you'd first have to be paying attention to each other, with one of you then verbally or non-verbally directing the other's attention to the third target. It therefore becomes a kind of indirect interaction. Again, you can go quite a long time without actually talking to each other, but it doesn't feel awkward. With separate attention, however, no interaction is required to feel comfortable. This is because we only feel compelled to interact when what we're focused on is somehow related to our awareness of the other person. For example, think of those times when you're sharing a physical space with someone, but you're in different attention bubbles. You're reading a book, they're working on their laptop. You're playing on your phone, they're watching TV. Or maybe you're both daydreaming. Again, what you're paying attention to has nothing to do with what they're paying attention to, so you don't feel compelled to interact. So with all these comfortable silence options available, why are so many of us afraid of silence? Well, first of all, in most cases of mutual attention, one of the main reasons conversation is the go-to method of interacting is because not all of the other methods are appropriate for an everyday social setting, and of the ones that are, the means to do so aren't always available. So if you do find yourself running out of conversation without any alternative mutual attention interaction options available, then rather than trying to drag the conversation out, you might want to consider shifting to a joint attention interaction. But obviously, it would need to be something that's more enjoyable for both of you than an awkward conversation. And if for some reason you can't interact non-verbally in a way that's enjoyable for both of you, then you must remove yourself from the mutual attention or joint attention bubble as soon as possible. And in case you're wondering, here's how I do it. Step 1. Confirm the suspected elephant in the room. I just casually say, okay, I think I've run out of things to say. Anything else you wanted to talk about? Which is a good question because it focuses their side of the conversation. If there was something they were meaning to ask or tell me, now's their chance. But most of the time, they just say, no, not really, and then move on to step 2. Inform them that you're leaving the mutual attention bubble. Say, okay, well I'm going to, and then tell them that you're going to listen to music, or read a newspaper, or daydream, or take a nap, whatever. It doesn't matter, because once you've both agreed that you have nothing else to talk about right now, switching to solo activities doesn't come off like anyone is socially rejecting the other. And then the optional step 3. Leave the door open for re-engagement. I usually tell them that if I think of something cool I want to talk about, I'll tap them on the shoulder and force them to talk to me again. It's a little joke just to let them know that we're not ending the interaction forever, we're just pausing it. No big deal. And here's the thing, when you know how to create a comfortable silence at will, it allows you to be more relaxed during the conversation because you no longer fear running out of things to say, which actually makes it easier to flow from topic to topic, which eliminates awkward small talk, which makes the content of your conversation more enjoyable, which ultimately leaves a better impression and makes people more likely to want to talk to you again, at least more likely than if you'd had a bunch of awkward silences and forced questions. And I can say this from personal experience. Ever since I discovered these little tricks, I hardly ever have to use them. Weird how that works.